There are many documented health and longevity-related benefits to eating fish and seafood. That's because in addition to being a great source of protein and loaded with nutrients, they're also our only source of the powerful omega-3 fatty acids DHA and EPA. These two powerhouses improve cardiovascular health, reduce your risk for heart attack, lessen your risk for cancer, as well as lessening your risk for autoimmune disorders and rheumatoid arthritis. But it's important to note that not all fish are the same. Some are highly nutritious, while others are significantly lacking in their nutrient content and can even be downright detrimental to your health. Here are a few key points to consider when it comes to eating fish and seafood. First, as with all things, you must first consider the source of where it comes from. There are generally two sources of seafood, wild caught and farm raised. So let's clarify between the two. Wild caught is as it sounds. It's fish and seafood that's caught in the wild in their natural environment by fishermen. While farm raised fish, on the other hand, and seafood, are those that are grown and raised in pens that are submerged in ponds, lakes, and the oceans. The problem with farm raised fish first lies in the fact that they're much higher in the bad inflammatory omega-3 or 6 fatty acids and lower in the good health promoting omega-3 fatty acids. The reason for this can be directly traced to their unnatural diet. You see, these farm raised fish are fed a horrible diet to keep costs low and yields high. They're put on an inflammatory corn, soy, and grain-based diets, which is not their natural diet. You see, depending on the type of fish or seafood, their natural diet is everything from other smaller fish to worms, crustaceans to algae, organisms, or plant matter. Do you know what their diet is not supposed to be? Yeah, not supposed to be corn, grain, soy, but that's what they're fed, and that's why they're high in those bad inflammatory and disease-causing omega-6 fatty acids that you do not want in your diet. Another knock against farm raised is that they are polluted and pollutants. The pens they live in are often overcrowded and they end up swimming and consuming their own feces. In addition, farm-raised fish and seafood are often given concentrated antibiotics, pesticides, and other chemicals commonly used to fight disease and parasites that are common to fish farms. So those are the main reasons that I highly advocate for going for wild-caught seafood over farm-raised whenever possible. With that said, there are some farm-raised fish and farms out there that are done the natural way, but they're few and far between, so you'll need to do your research if you decide to go down that farm-raised route. But beyond what the source of our seafood and fish is, there's also the important matter of what types of fish and seafood we're consuming. You have to understand that our oceans are filled with pollution and contaminants that directly impacts the marine life. Think of the Fukushima power plant meltdown. Many fish are now loaded with unsafe levels of contaminants and mercury. Now, all fish on this planet have some level of mercury. However, some have much higher levels than others. Let's briefly take a look at the top 3 fish that you want to avoid because of contamination and or excessive mercury content. Number 1 is shark of any type. That's because sharks are at or near the top of the food chain, and they consume other fish as their main source of food. This means whatever mercury and contaminants were in those fish that they ate accumulate in the bodies of the sharks. Basically, the larger the fish, the higher it is on the aquatic food chain, the higher the levels of mercury and contamination you're going to find. So, number 2 fish you want to avoid is swordfish. Swordfish is another very large fish that eats other contaminated fish as their natural diet. Swordfish also contains high levels of a very strong neurotoxin called methylmercury. This toxin can easily cross the placenta in a pregnant woman and has the potential to damage the nervous system of an unborn fetus. The 3rd fish you'll want to avoid is king mackerel. Again, another large fish. It's predatory, so it accumulates large amounts of mercury and toxins from the fish it eats. I've included a download for you that goes into more detail and gives you not just the top 3, but the top 10 fish to avoid. But now let's go ahead and take a look at the fish we should be eating. The ones that have the lowest level of contamination and the most health benefits are. The top 3 in this category starts with number 1, wild-caught Alaskan salmon. This is a rich source of a variety of vitamins, minerals, as well as lean protein and omega-3 fatty acids. According to the Monterey Bay Aquarium Seafood Watch, wild-caught Alaskan salmon contains low levels of contaminants like mercuries or PCBs. Number 2 would be sardines. These little fish are nutritional powerhouses that are high in an anti-inflammatory omega-3 fatty acids, and they're full of essential nutrients, vitamins B12, they're high in selenium, and they help protect bone health and defend against mood disorders, control blood sugar levels, promote weight loss, all while being low in mercury and pollutants. Because it's a smaller fish that's lower on the food chain, contaminant levels are much lower. The third fish you should be eating is oysters. Always known for being a good source of libido boosting zinc, they're also rich in omega-3s, providing 1,550 milligrams of EPA and DHA in a 4-ounce serving. They're also a great source of iron. Oysters that have been farmed worldwide or raised in the Gulf of Mexico are said by the Monterey Bay Aquarium and Seafood Watch to be on their best choice list. Like the worst, I've included a download for you, not just the top 3, but the top 10 best fish and seafood to eat. One final point about seafood that I want to clarify. For pregnant women, the omega-3s in seafood provide a vital source for brain health for an unborn child, but you have to be cautious in your choices, because if someone you know is pregnant, they should not consume any farm-raised or large fish because of the potential contamination that exists. Fish like wild-caught, salmon, sardines, anchovies, and mackerels are the best choices. What about shrimp and shellfish? Well, things like clams, oysters, mussels, scallops are excellent sources of zinc, as long as they come from uncontaminated sources. As for shrimp, though, it often gets a bad rap because of its high levels of cholesterol. And it's true, shrimp does contain a lot of cholesterol. But the scientific and medical evidence has shown that dietary cholesterol has minimal, if any, impact on your blood cholesterol, which again is why the U.S. government removed all daily cholesterol limits from the 2015 dietary guideline and now states that cholesterol is no longer a nutrient of concern. So feel free to enjoy shrimp without concern, but just be cautious of where they come from and choose wild caught when possible. All right, so to recap, the big takeaway is to eat wild-caught fish that are smaller in size and not on the high end of the aquatic food chain to reduce your risk for contamination and mercury consumption.